What if the most extraordinary life began in the most ordinary place? No palace, no fame, no spotlight, just a quiet village, dusty roads, and a boy growing up in silence. And yet, that quiet life would one day change the world. This is the story of life in Nazareth. Nazareth wasn't special. It wasn't rich. It wasn't powerful. It wasn't even important on the map. A small village surrounded by hills, narrow paths, simple homes made of stone and wood. People who lived day to day, working hard just to survive. If you pass through Nazareth, you might not even notice it. But sometimes, the places the world ignores are the ones where the biggest stories begin. In this quiet village lived a boy named Jesus Christ. To most people, he was just another child. He ran through the streets with other kids. He laughed. He played. Nothing about him looked extraordinary. And that's what makes this story so powerful. He lived with his mother, Mary, and his earthly father, Joseph. Their home wasn't big. It wasn't filled with luxury, but it was filled with something stronger. Love, discipline, faith. Every morning in Nazareth started early. The sun rising over the hills, the sound of tools, the smell of fresh bread. Joseph would begin his work as a carpenter. Wood, tools, sweat, and patience. And slowly, Jesus began to learn. Not from books first, but from life. Imagine a young boy watching his father work, learning how to shape wood, how to fix what's broken, how to build something strong from something simple. These weren't just skills, they were lessons. Patience, focus, responsibility. Mary, on the other hand, taught him something just as important: faith. She told stories. She guided him. She showed him how to trust, even when life didn't make sense. Because Mary knew this child was different, but she also knew he needed to grow like any other child. Life in Nazareth wasn't easy. There were no shortcuts. People worked hard. Food had to be earned. Water had to be carried. Everything required effort. And Jesus experienced all of it. Think about that. The one who would one day speak to thousands first learned in silence. A one who would perform miracles first learned patience in ordinary life. Days in Nazareth were simple. Children played in the streets. Neighbors talked outside their homes. Families shared meals together. There was no rush, no noise of a busy city, just life, slow and steady. But inside that simplicity, something was growing. Wisdom. Not loud, not obvious, but deep. Jesus began to understand things differently. He listened carefully. He asked questions. He observed everything. While others saw routine, he saw meaning. And that's the thing about Nazareth. It didn't look important, but it was shaping something powerful. Years passed. Jesus grew older, stronger, wiser. People still saw him as ordinary, a carpenter's son, a boy from Nazareth, nothing more. But sometimes, greatness hides in plain sight. He worked, he helped his family, he lived like everyone else. No fame, no attention, just consistency. And that's something many people miss. Before the big moments, there are quiet years. Years where nothing seems special. Years where no one is watching. Nazareth was those years. The hidden chapter. The preparation stage. Think about your own life. How often do you feel like nothing is happening? Like your life is too ordinary, too small, too unnoticed? Nazareth felt the same. But it wasn't empty. It was building something. Because the truth is, you don't need a big stage to grow. You don't need attention to become something great. Sometimes, all you need is time, patience, and purpose. Jesus didn't rush. He didn't try to prove anything. He simply grew, step by step, day by day. And then, the time would come, when the quiet life would end, when the world would finally see what Nazareth had been shaping all along. But until that moment, It was just a small village, a simple life, a boy learning, working, growing. So what really happened in Nazareth? No miracles, no crowds, no headlines. Just preparation, just growth, just purpose, slowly unfolding. And maybe that's why this story matters so much, because it reminds us that your ordinary season is not wasted, that your quiet life has meaning, that even when nothing looks special, something powerful can still be happening. Nazareth wasn't famous, but it didn't need to be, because sometimes the greatest stories begin in the smallest places. And that's the truth about life in Nazareth. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply powerful, because it was the beginning of everything.